Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Texte's another podcast. Today we are joined by a very special guest from Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Midhat Shahzad. She is a she is Secretary Tourism Department and as well as she is Secretary IT Department at the government of Azad Jammu and Kashmir. And today we are going to talk about future of tourism in Azad Kashmir according to her. What's her views on that? And we all know the world has changed and we all are still fighting an unseen enemy. But despite of this crisis, tourism industry in Pakistan has a great potential to research in the new normal. Today, we are going to discuss about what challenges AJK has when it comes to travel and tourism, and we are also going to talk a little about inbound tourism in Azad Jammu and Kashmir. And and last but not the least, we are also going to know about her story so we all can seek inspiration from. But before going for any questions, we are really thankful to you, ma'am, for sparing out time, for taking out time to do this podcast with us today.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. We want to start with who is Midhat Shahzad? How you describe yourself? Because we were looking at your portfolio that you have such a huge portfolio. You worked in different departments. You have years and years of experience. And how you define yourself and what's the story behind how this all started?
Thank you very much. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. This is Midhat Shahzad, a humble contributor to the humanity. I hail from Azad Kashmir and I am civil servant in AJK government. I am secretary to the government of AJK. Presently, I am having the portfolio of Ministry of IT, Information and Tourism. And tourism is as my passion. So I'm very much enjoying this portfolio, the whole portfolio, because IT is very much related to tourism as well. I'm masters in economics and I did my MPhil in international relations, and I'm looking forward for my PhD as well. But
Wow.
at the moment, I am mostly engrossed with the tourism development and tourism promotion in AJK. As you know, the AJK has very much potential of tourism development, because if we see the overall employment opportunities in AJK, mostly these are with the government department, these are in the public sector. So in the private sector, we need to harness a lot of potentials, and we need to invest in potential areas like hydro, like tourism, like IT in AJK. So tourism, hydro and IT, these are the backbones of IT. Means that we have a lot of skill development we should have, because we have, as in Pakistan, at national level, we have a huge bulk of very much energetic youth. So this youth should be harnessed, this should be skilled in different skills, so that we can have very good productive youth with us. And apart from youth, we have potential of tourism. So tourism is like a backbone for AGK. So I am striving for the promotion of tourism. Let's see where
Wow, ma'am,
we
we are going
will
to
reach
talk
it.
about that later down the line, that how you people are, what steps your government is taking in terms of promoting travel and tourism in AJK. But as you just mentioned that you have two portfolios like IT and tourism, and as you also mentioned that they both are directly linked with each other. Like
Yes.
tourism and tech, they can both contribute, like tech can contribute towards better
Yeah.
tourism and can facilitate tourists in a better way. We are also going to talk about in terms of startup and entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Yeah.
But, ma'am, we recently been through a crisis of historic proportion, and tourism is one of the most vulnerable sector during this crisis. If we look into the numbers, influx of tourists in AJK, if we look into the numbers of 2019, it was 1.5 million, and it was expected that it would be 2 million in 2020. But definitely there was a crisis, everything changed. We can say that everything changed overnight globally. So how much AJK has been affected and what steps your government took to research so tourism industry can research in the new norm?
Yeah, this was very unfortunate for the whole of globe as well, and as the global impact of tourism in the tourism sector is very huge, so is the case with AJK as well, because as you have yourself mentioned that we have 1.5 million average tourist every year for the last one decade at least, but and we were expecting, of course, in 2020 that there must be some increase because we have celebrated 2019 as tourism year, and we have done a lot of events and a lot of awareness campaigns for the tourism flourishment in AJK. So we were expecting, of course, 2 million in 2020, but unfortunately, at the very peak season of the tourism, in AJK, because mostly summer season is the tourism season. Although there must be
Yeah,
some winter tourism as well, and there are trends which are surging now that winter tourism is also an option for the tourist. But in the summer, we have been impacted very harshly as at national level as in global level. But we have done. Actually, this downfall of the tourism in AJK has two types of crisis. One was this Kashmir scenario because of the Indian different acts. Our tourism was impacted because of Kashmir scenario, and then from August to March we were expecting a lot of tourism, but because of this Kashmir issue, mostly tourists were reluctant to come in AJK. Then after that, in March, or rather you can say from February till now, tourism is being impacted by this very invisible thing that is COVID-19. And we have done a lot of survey on this aspect during March and April, and we got to know that only during the first 3 months, the loss of tourism sector in AJK was about 1 billion. So we have
oh,
done a lot of survey in the hotel industry, in the tourist operators industry, in transport industry. Everywhere we have done a thorough survey with the help of different surveyors, with the help of different forms. We have circulated to the different sectors, and we got feedback, and we have calculated all the losses which they are being bearing because of this crisis. And we came to know that during the first 3 months, there was about 1 billion loss. So after getting this huge impact in tourism sector, we wanted to help out this sector as well. So when a SAS program came in from the government of Pakistan, we tried our best that the lower staff of the tourism sector, in the transport sector, in tourism sector, hotel industry, everywhere, that should be included in the dihadidar of that area, so that we can assist them financially with the help of SAS program. Then we have waived off different things for them, and we have approached the government that their electricity utility bills should also be waived off, so for at least three
wow.
months. So in this way, we have helped out the tourism sector over there. And when in August this year, government of Pakistan decided that tourism sector should be open for the tourist, we were the first in AGK who have started right from the 10th of August. And after that, we have left with only 2 or 3 months, and tourist influx was very huge in these 3 months. But they are, to some extent, they are compensated the tourism industry. But overall, tourist fall was very low as per our expectation because of this COVID-19.
Yeah, because a lot of
So,
in a lot of months people were unable to travel in these areas due to COVID.
yeah,
And as you also
yeah,
mentioned that there
exactly.
was a Kashmir issue going on. So you
Yeah.
people had two different issues, like one is COVID and the other one
Mm-hmm.
is Kashmir issue, and it's hugely
Yeah,
affected. So we all are
yeah.
saddened because of that, but hopefully we all
Mm.
will move ahead with this COVID thing, and inshallah
Inshallah.
we will learn that how to live with this COVID-19, because until and unless we don't have a vaccine globally, COVID is not going
We have
anywhere
to.
till date. Till then, yeah.
Yeah, and we have to live with
So,
this. Mm.
yeah. By the way, ma'am, there is one thing which I want to ask, that tourism is, as you just mentioned, that tourism is one of the top priorities of the government, AJK government, as well as
Yeah.
it's a part of our national vision right now. Can you please share which steps are being taken in terms of promoting tourism in AJK?
Yeah, this is of course the priority of government of AJK as well as in the national level, at the national level. tourism is the top priority for the government of Pakistan as well. So, to promote the tourism sector and to flourish into the tourism sector, first of all, actually, whenever you want to promote or you do something for the sector, you have to legislate something for that sector so that the legal sanctity should be in place, first of all. So, we have done a lot of legislation for the tourism sector in AJK. We have issued first ever tourism policy in AJK in 2019. And we have legislated an act for the tourism promotion, and that is called Tourism Promotion Act 2019, and this is wholly solely for the tourism investment in AJK. We have talked about a mechanism in
Wow.
that act, and along with that act, we have rules which show that what should be the mechanism for the investors to invest in the tourism sector. And with this legislation, we have
I think
created
this is gonna boost tourism to another level
yeah,
if
yeah,
investors
we
are
have
gonna
done.
join in. Yeah.
Yeah, our assembly has enacted an act, Tourism Promotion Act, and with this act, we have created a land bank in the hands of tourism department. For example, if the land is a potential area of tourism, we can have the legislation that we can have transfer of that land to the tourism department, and we can offer that land to the tourism investor so that he can have a one window operation with only tourism department. He can't go from this department to that department. So this mechanism is very much fruitful for the investors, and we have initiated first two investments in this sector, and we have leased out two pieces of land to the very influential investors in tourism. That one was given to the Centaurus, and the other was another very sound party from abroad. But he was they are also the son of the soil, and they have got another land piece. And now we are in the making in the process of an advertisement for another set of lands and buildings. We have actually 42 rest houses with us, and we wanted to outsource these rest houses to the private sector, and we are doing this in phased manner. We have started this process as well, and one of the tourism rest house at Deer Court. This is an area in Bagh. We have outsourced that resource to a private sector investor. So our building entities and our land banks both are being offered to the tourism investors so that they can come and invest in the tourism sector. And government should only play a role of facilitator and regulator, and the other investments and everything in the hospitality sector, in the tourism sector, that should be done by the private investors. So after
Wow. I
legislation,
think
we have
these yeah. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
first thing was legislation, then this investment procedure and everything. All things are initiated. Then we have declared 2019 as tourism year, and during that declaration and during that year, we have done a lot of events and awareness campaigns and awareness seminars and everything in the tourism sector. And apart from tourism, in archaeology sector, that was very ignorant sector in AJK. So we have started some seminars on archaeology and heritage of AJK. First was a national seminar at Mirpur, Azad Kashmir, and the other was international seminar at Islamabad Sarina Hotel, and that was collaborated by the IRSICA, a subsidiary of OIC. They have collaborated with us and the
Wow.
government of Pakistan, and we have done an international conference on heritage of Kashmir. After that, we have started how to preserve heritage of the Kashmir, and what should be the cost, and who should bear the cost. So government stepped in, and we have started some projects in heritage tourism as well. And we our one of the project in Muzaffarabad, that is Red Fort, renovation and preservation of Red Fort in Muzaffarabad, that was given to Lahore Walled City Authority in the hands of Kamran Lashari's team. So it has been initiated, it has been launched by the Prime Minister, and now the work is in progress. The other project is to survey all the tourism heritage sites of AJK. That was being given to AJK University, Qadir University, and Hazara University's team. That team is comprised of some archaeologists, some preservationists, some architects, and they all being involved in this survey, that where the heritage of the Kashmir is lying, and what is its condition, and they will ultimately prepare some PC1s for renovation of these heritage sites. So this is another project which was initiated by the tourism department, and now it is in the
Wow.
process of progressing ahead. And we have approved we have got approved two projects of museums in AJK. These museums would be the first ever museums in AJK. One is being developed in Muzaffarabad, and the other is in Mirpur. So apart from the stereotype or recreational tourism, we are our policy's main thrust line is that the diversification of tourism destinations should be there, and diversification of tourism aspects, for example, adventure tourism, heritage tourism, medicinal tourism, spiritual tourism, ecotourism, all aspects of the tourism should be uh, uh, flourished in AJK, because all aspects have the potential in AJK. We have a lot of potential for adventure tourism. We are doing a lot of winter tourism with the help of adventure tourism. So we are diversifying the different opportunities of tourism so that every aspect of tourism can be harnessed and can be offered to the tourist for the recreation and for
Wow,
its satisfaction.
I think all of these things which you just mentioned, I think it's really, first of all, it's really sounds good. It's really good to hear. And these things are gonna really boost travel and tourism sector. And we can see that a lot of practical steps are being taken to promote travel and tourism, specifically when you mentioned that you people are also interested in preserving heritage sites. I think this
Yeah.
is really gonna boost the tourism, and we really need to do all
Hmm.
of these things to boost tourism. By the way,
Yeah.
ma'am, when it comes to inbound tourism, international travelers coming to Pakistan for traveling, are you satisfied with the visa policy, and are you satisfied with the facilities these places are offering in general when it comes to whole of Pakistan?
Yeah, it is. The visa pass policy is very much now user friendly and very good for the international tourist. But we have to be prepared for the best facilities for the international tourist as well. So at the moment, we are not at the 100% satisfaction of the international tourist. But once they begin to come or influx in the Pakistan tourism, yeah, ultimately this is demand and supply rule, that is applying everywhere. Once they will be coming in Pakistan, the private sector would also be getting up, and they will be investing for the best facilitation of the international tourist, as well as government sector will do a lot of efforts for the facilitation of the international tourists. So if they can easily come over in Pakistan and they can be attracted with the help of some awareness campaigns, with the help of some seminars. After that, the other things will automatically be done by the private sector as well as public sector. So
Wow,
at the moment,
yeah,
we
I
are,
think this is 100%. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, this
at
is
the moment,
100%
we are
right.
not,
That
yeah,
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
You
So
can,
I think this is 100% right that we are, first of all, we are in the right direction, and things are gonna move step ahead, and we will be better and better when it comes to travel and tourism industry of Pakistan. So, ma'am, by the way, when it comes to tourist destinations, littering is a huge problem. Littering and waste management.
mm,
What you think? It's a first of all, it's a we think that it's a habitual thing for our public that we don't care about this littering
mm,
thing. First of all, how to avoid it? And are you people taking any steps to prevent this bad habit?
yeah. This is a great hiccup in the tourism sector all over in Pakistan and AJK, and that is why that tourism is the top priority of national government as well as AJK government. So we are part of National Tourism Board at federal level, and we used to discuss this subject very frequently. And recently, we have a meeting with Zulfi Buhari Sahab from all over Pakistan and AJK and GB. Every secretary is representing over there, and we have discussed about how to cater for this bad thing in tourism sector. So we have decided that there must be some awareness campaigns all over areas in different provinces in AGK and GB, and we will take the lead. Tourism department will chalk out some program that mostly the hubs of tourism sector, where mostly in tourism influx, tourist influx is there. We should select those areas, and we should start some awareness campaign over there with the help of local administration, with the help of university students, with the help of some NGOs. So we have chalked out some programs. For example, we have some very frequently visited spots like Ganga Choti, like Ratti Gali, right, Toli Pir, and Adankel and Keran. These spots were selected, and Pirchanasi, of course, in Muzaffarabad. These 5 6 spots were selected by tourism department of AJK, and we have chalked out some dates that from on that date this place would be selected for the awareness campaign. First of all, cleanliness drive would be there, and then different equipments would be kept with the team of students and district administration and tourism police. By the way, we have tourism police in AJK as well. We have started this special feature of tourism in 2019 as well. We are the pioneers in
Wow.
national at national level as so they all have started the cleanliness drive in different spots, and we have done with Tolipir, Banjosa, and Pirchirasi, and Ratigali. Now we will be moving to some other spot, so that first of all that place can be cleaned with this drive, and then we will put some dustbins over there with the help sponsorship of different banking sectors or different NGOs. So we place some dustbins over there, and after that the most effective thing we have done in AJK, that is we have notified some fines for the entrepreneurs, the local entrepreneurs who are doing business in these hubs. So we have imposed a fine of 500 for the littering over there, and we have
To the
compulsorily asked
hotels
them
and
that
guest houses? It's
yeah,
500 for
hotels,
the
guest
hotels and guest
houses.
houses or the general travelers?
No, hotels, guest houses, restaurants, the local entrepreneur, for the local entrepreneur, that they should
Okay.
watch their places, that they should not be littering. If there is littering, or either tourist or whoever is caught over there with the help of tourism police, they can be fined for the 500 rupees, and they have to put some dustbins over there compulsorily. That is also another SOP notified by the government of AJK. So now things are moving onto a better position, and people are getting aware that this littering is bad thing for the attraction of tourism. So they are cooperating with the tourism department as well, and now we are into it. Of course, it will take time to reverse the gear, because uh, the whole nation is in the habit of littering everywhere.
Yeah,
So
it's a kind of
there
habit for all
there's
of us.
there must be some civic sense in the not only in the entrepreneurs, in the business people, but in the minds of tourists as well. So everybody should play its own responsibility, and
I think, ma'am, what you just
that is
mentioned
a
that you people
community.
also have, yeah, you people are
Yeah,
also charging. There is a penalty if you are gonna litter.
yeah,
So I think this
yeah,
is really gonna stop and curb the littering thing because people
yeah.
are afraid of these things. Like if we anyone travels abroad from here from Pakistan, they don't
Hmm.
litter. They obey the rule just because
Hmm.
they know that they have to pay the
Fine.
fine if you're gonna
Yeah,
not follow the rules. So I
yeah.
think this is really gonna
That
help.
is why, yeah, that is why we tried this. Although this is discouraging for the tourists, but the tourists should understand that if they can pay 10,000, 5,000, 20,000 for the trip of a tour of their in education in anywhere, how
Yeah.
it is not difficult for them to give 500, but they would be embarrassed to give the fine for the littering. So that is the way to teach, to educate the civic sense to the tourist as well.
I think this is really a great initiative. I think this
Hmm.
initiative was also started by Galyat Development Authority over here in
Hmm.
Galyat, and it really
Okay.
worked over here. And
And
you
we have
also
done a lot.
mentioned that you people are
Another,
also deploying bins.
yeah. Another thing we have done is that that is destination management organization. we are creating some DMOs. These are called DMOs, which are comprised of three local community persons and from the local district administration department, and one is from tourism department, and maybe one from the local government. So these six people are responsible for that particular area in the ground, at the ground level, so that they can see that who is littering over there, and who can be fined. Apart from the tourism police, apart from the tourism department, this community destination management organization, community participation can help a lot with us, to curb these type of bad thing in tourism sector.
Yeah. Oh, I think this is really going to help because with involvement of locals, locals can
Mm,
really keep an eye on
yeah.
them and can stop, can be a great source
Mm.
of, yeah,
Community participation is the hallmark of
is
tourism
very
sector
important.
flourishment, you know.
Yeah.
Community is very important here.
By the way, ma'am, there is one question. Like, you also mentioned that you people have tourism police. By the way, when it comes to
Mm,
police, normally people don't stop by them and don't ask them anything because most of the time
mm,
we people are afraid of police and there is a negative image, negative perception we have in our minds. So, are they trained for the tourists, like how
yeah.
they have to
Actually,
behave, what they,
mm,
yeah,
actually, they were firstly they were picked from the same police department, but they were picked on some certain criterias. If their behavior is good, if their education is good, if their brought up is good, then they were picked from those. They are chosen from the police department first of all, and then they were trained for this purpose especially. And oh, we have very good experience of this tourism police. We have a lot of success stories that they have helped tourist on the way to anywhere, and tourist is giving feedback to us that this tourism police is very much helping hand for the trip in the AJK. So we have a lot of success
yeah.
stories in this regard, and we are happy that tourism police is doing well, and its
Yeah, I think
impression
it's
is
really great
now.
because
Mm,
tourism police can really facilitate the travelers. Even when we travel internationally, we see tourism police and they really
mm.
help travelers.
Help,
If you
yeah.
want to know about anything, they help you.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
even
that
by
is,
going extra miles.
yeah, our tourism police is doing the same in AJK as well.
Yeah, ma'am, by the way, when it comes to COVID, like we all been through a crisis of historic proportion, and we all spent a lockdown for few months, for few days. And how was your experience with that? What are the positive and negative impacts of COVID on your personal life?
Not only personal life, but in tourism, there is a positive impact as well, because nature has got its time to regenerate, to be at its bloom. Nature is very much
Yeah,
attractive now for the tourists, you know. And for me, it is very unique experience that as secretary IT, I have done a lot of new things in IT sector, and I have done in the governance sector. I have facilitated the government that with the help of IT, the video conferencing system, this system which in which we have conversation with each other, and a lot of other analyses and other applications, new applications were evolved, and a lot of things have been done in my IT department. So while sitting in house, we can do a lot of work in the office, and efficiency was improved. So during the COVID-19, we have learned a lot of new things to for the efficiency and efficacy of the governance in our sector. Personally, my kids were with me because of COVID-19, and that was very positive thing for me that
so you got a
three of
lot
my
of
kids
time
are.
to spend with your kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, because whenever
that
there is
was
a
very positive.
crisis, yeah, when there are a lot of negative things happening because of
Mm,
anything, there is a positive side of it, and I think we need
yeah,
to focus on the positive side so
yes,
we
of
don't
course.
go into depression. Yeah.
Mm.
By the way,
And
ma'am, we just
especially,
have 1 minute left. Yeah. What
yeah.
is your last advice for the listeners, specifically to the travelers? What advice you wanna give?
One thing is that if they feel there are any symptoms of COVID-19 with them, don't travel to any place, so that you are not the contributor to spread the COVID-19 over that area. Number two is littering. The civic sense of the not littering anywhere is the message for. I always give this message to the tourists: please don't litter anywhere where you want to spend some leisure time. That is beauty of that place is for you. The attraction of that place is for you. If it is littered with your gesture, that will be harmed by you, and this is not good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. By the way, ma'am, at the end, I again want to thank you for taking out time to do this podcast with us. It was really nice talking with you, and there were a lot of learnings involved. We learned a lot about travel and tourism in AJK, and I learned a lot from your story as well. Thank you so
Thank
much once again, and
you.
Allah Hafiz.
Nice
Take
to
care.
see you. Thank you so much.